Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the Roto RST X-2. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe, it helps out. The RST X-2 is an asymmetrical pearl. It features the RST core and it's wrapped in the E-Trax Plus Pearl reactive cover stock. I'm going to be comparing it to my trusty Storm Dark Code with the same layout. The first pattern we're going to be checking them out on is a 43-foot 10-to-1 house shot. For me, the RST X-2 does a really good job of getting down the lane with a lot of stored energy for a strong angular move to the pins. I think bowlers who struggle with getting enough entry angle for a consistent carry will really benefit from the motion that this ball creates, whether that be from playing straight up the boards or opening up the lanes as they break down. Off my hand, the Storm Dark Code is pretty similar in overall strength, but it's a little smoother, a little more rounded off the back, and a little less angular. The Dark Code benefits bowlers who struggle with maintaining hold while needing a piece that's going to get down the lane and turn the corner sharply. It also helps bowlers who get too snappy of a reaction off the back end when they open up the lane. It smooths out the motion and adds some predictability. The reason I specifically chose these two bowling balls to compare is I'm finding that they work really good together when you need to open up the lane, get left of everything, and still have a good bounce off the spot. When the lane is telling you that you need some extra angle for carry, the RST X-2 is great. But the second that it overdrives, instead of having to move and get out of that groove you've created, you can drop into the Dark Code and play over top of it, and it just gives you that little bit less entry angle to get some extra hold and continue to carry. The smoothness and predictability that the Dark Code offers allows you to have quite a bit of miss room as long as you're standing in the right place and playing over the correct lines. As you move left, you may need to change hand position or decrease speed just to keep the ball facing up correctly, which is a fantastic thing to have in your toolkit, but it can also mean that your miss room is starting to disappear with the angles to keep the ball striking. So when I have these two in the bag, once I see the Dark Code be a little bit flattened through the pocket, I can just switch to the RST X-2 and know that that extra angle is going to help it kick out the 10 pin. Now with this pattern being a house shot, I know I have plenty of friction to the right, and I've also created a pretty decent groove, so I can just continue to move left and bounce this thing off the groove, and it still has enough angle to carry. Once it gets a little too angular and comes in through the nose, I don't need to continue moving left just yet. I can drop to that Dark Code, and that's going to smooth out that break point and give me some hold and let me continue to keep the strikes coming. Recently I did pretty well in a tournament on this Kegel Route 66 pattern. Now it's not the hardest pattern in the world, but it is a 45-foot pattern and it showed a pretty good amount of friction in the tournament. So I figured that the best way to attack it would just be using the slow big wheel with the RST X-2. And the second that it started overdriving, I dropped to the Dark Code and continued to strike without forcing myself too far left too early, giving away my miss room. It also helped too, because if I caught a pair that was a little bit more friction, I could drop to the Dark Code, or if the pair was a little greasier, I could always throw the RST X-2. And I didn't really have to find a new line. I could just kind of play over top the same thing, just reading how the ball's coming off the back. Now that one I missed a little bit inside, but it also checked, so I want to add some more hold, so I just switched to the Dark Code and let it round out. I know I've got plenty of back end friction to keep that angle coming in, so I don't necessarily want to make any big changes. I just want to let the Dark Code smooth out the back end of the pattern, which it does perfectly while allowing me to continue to create a nice groove and increase my miss room. Now this line's working pretty good for carry right now, but I'm already thinking ahead to, alright, the second it dries out, what's my next move going to be? And on this one, it overhooks a bit. So I'm like, alright, let's just move a little bit left and slow it down and let it roll back. But I don't get recovery from that angle for carry. I could sit there and hit the pocket or make some adjustments or just make a ball change and get my carry back. It's super important to stop the bleeding immediately and recognizing when you're not carrying, why that's happening. And I can either sit there and mess around with some rotational directions and speed, or I can have an exact complementary piece that I can play over top and change how the ball is working. I feel like I can continue to cycle between these two depending on how the ball's coming off the back end of the pattern until I run out of lane, which I still have 2 more arrows to play. I might have to get a little more creative after that. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos coming soon.